Welcome to another Demarcation Media Mega Construx review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Warrior Series blind bags. This is the entire lineup in front of us. So we're going to just go through these figures one by one. And actually what we're going to do is we're going to go according to the order that they show up on the little pamphlet. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in, starting with that Elite Zealot. I know a lot of people really don't like the Halo 4 and 5 Elite designs, but you gotta admit, this guy looks pretty darn intimidating. And honestly, I think he looks really cool. I know maybe a lot of you guys won't agree with that, but I think he looks really epic. He's got that really intimidating like helmet because his eyes are just like these black slits, and then the mouth kind of looks like it's screaming. Has almost like a knight helmet vibe to it, but of course in Elite style. He's got the Zealot symbol on his forehead, which is cool. Since this is a blind bag figure, they didn't necessarily have to do that, but they went the extra mile, gave us the print. Helmet comes off. Underneath is just a black head, and the rest of the undersuit is black, so I'm assuming that this is supposed to be just like an armored undersuit, and we don't actually see any of his skin. Pop that back on. His armor is this really nice, kind of like dull metallic red color. Looks really good. I wish Mega would use this color more, because it's almost on the orangey side of things, but not quite. And then he comes armed with a, what is this, a pulse rifle? No, that's not a pulse rifle. Storm rifle. I think that's what this is. I think this is a storm rifle. Unpainted, just no print at all. But again, this is a blind bag figure. But this is not a super common weapon, so I'm glad to get more of them. Then he's got a black stand. So I think this guy's really cool. He was a common, and I think he's a good one to army build. And he looks really frightening. And he also pairs super well with the Zealot from Challenger series. So you can get yourself like Christmas Elites with the red and green. Next up is a Spartan Mark. What is this? Mark 4? Mark 4 Spartan? I never can keep up with like which Mark is which. No, Mark 4 would have been like Halo Wars. What is this guy then? Mark 5? I don't know. You guys know what this armor is. And he comes in this really nice silver. This silver is not like paint. It is just the color that they molded him in. This is like the same kind of silver that they use for the Faithful versus Fallen figures. I think it looks absolutely brilliant. Super shiny, and you don't really have to worry about rubbing the shininess off because it is the color of the plastic. And then the red visor, I think, was an excellent choice. It contrasts really nicely. And then the print detail as well is just really good. Like, surprisingly good. Especially for a blind bag figure. These days, blind bag figure like misprints are fairly common, but this one is really good. And this is actually my 5th one of these guys, believe it or not. I got a lot of like 3 or 4 of them a while back. Unfortunately, I think only one survived. I used the rest for like customs and stuff. But yeah, so in all of those guys, pretty much every single one had really sharp visors. So it's just kind of is how this figure is. He gets really great visor print all the time. He comes armed with a red needler. Now, I don't think this weapon is a super great weapon. This is not a great color. Maybe it looks better, you know, if they would have printed the needles or something, but I feel like, I don't know. It's just a weird, awkward, too bright color for this piece. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But yeah, it's a good weapon. Like, the needler is a good weapon. I just don't particularly love the red color for it, because it looks like a Nerf gun or something. He's got like a Nerf needler. Other than that, though, this dude is super cool. Absolutely love the coloring. And I like how they use the red visor to tie him into the red warrior color scheme. I guess that's why they gave him the red needler too, because they wanted just that extra bit of red to show, yeah, this is a Warrior Series figure. But that part just looks a little awkward. Just a little bit. Halo 4 Marines are another one of those designs that it's a mixed bag of opinions. Some people love them, some people hate them, but I'm one of those people that thinks that the Halo 4 Marines look really cool. And he looks particularly cool here in this dark red with the gray. There's just kind of a lot going on here. So He's got all of the red like armor pieces. Then he's got the leg strap in a dark gray. He's got dark gray print on the helmet, gold like glasses. The face print is done really nicely. The skin is not really like extra pale. It lines up nicely with the edges of the helmet. And then he's got light gray shoulders, which there's no other light gray on the figure as a whole. So you'd think that the light gray would throw things off, but it really doesn't. It just kind of adds. And then he comes with a silver AR. This is the kind before you could add your own like scopes and stuff onto it, and before you could add muzzle flares. So unfortunately, you can't attach a muzzle flare to this. This dude is a absolutely fantastic army builder. I've got, this will be my third one, although one of them I painted like some brown markings on. So I technically only have like 2, so like an escort guard of the normal ones. But yeah, this is one that's great to just mass a whole bunch of these guys. Get yourself a red squad all ready to go. I like how they tied the silver in too. Silver seems to be the secondary color for Warrior Series, so we have red as the main color, obviously, and then silver is a secondary color because we've gotten the silver and red Spartan so far. Then this guy has kind of the light gray, which is close enough to silver. I don't think they ever made these pieces in silver. But then he's got the silver AR, and so that adds the whole scheme. And then we'll see some more silver in a minute. But this guy was a common, which is great because, like I said, you wanted to amass him. But these days, he's going to not be so easy to get your hands on. Unfortunately, that's how it works. The coolest army builder figures are always the most expensive on the aftermarket. And speaking of army builders, we have our Grunt. I think this is a Storm Grunt, maybe? I don't know. He's the Halo 4 and 5 Grunt. He's got like this maroon metallic color for the armor. See his little breather pipe going here to his nose. Comes armed with a plasma pistol, dark brown skin tone, silver, again, for his extra highlight detail. And this guy is one of the Nightmare Grunts, so when you pull the helmet off, look at that. He looks so funny with his little beady orange eyes and little funny teeth. It's a shame that Mega doesn't give the Grunts printed faces anymore. And like, this is a blind bag figure, and he's got an entire printed face. It looks cursed, sure, but it's there. So let me put that back on. You can see his eyes through there. So this guy is another one you'd want to amass a little squad of at the very least. This is the only one of these guys I have. Well, I think I have a Challenger Series one and a custom one from JKT. So I have a couple of this style, but only one of the red guys. And that's a really nice color too. It's really good. Works for like the Covenant style. I think actually we might have had some vehicles in this color back in the old like Halo Mega Block stuff. But yeah, this guy is great. I know a lot of people, again, don't like the Halo 4 and 5 designs, but I think the fact that this guy's face looks so cursed is what makes him desirable. And to round off the commons, we have one of the coolest blind bag Spartans ever, the red Spartan Recruit. Now, you guys know at this point, I'm a sucker for the Recruit armor. I think it looks absolutely perfect. It just, everything about the design really just works. And then this one, they did the dark blue visor, and it's so good. It's so good. It's so sharp. The edges are razor, like absolutely, they fit it to the shape of the visor on the helmet perfectly. I don't know how they did this so well, but I've seen pictures of more of them, and they always seem to have really good visors. I wish they would be able to do print this good like today for blind bag figures. Unfortunately, we don't usually get that quality anymore. For the visor prints anyway. Sometimes we do, but usually we don't. There's around the back. No other print other than the visor, but that visor is so good. That's really all the print you need. And then he comes armed with a silver tactical shotgun. So once again, we see our secondary silver color coming through. Whoa, dude, hold on to your weapon. Don't you know there's a war on? So that looks really cool. I really love this. This guy is probably my favorite figure from the entire series. Marine is close second, but this dude just looks perfect. Moving on to the first of the rares, we have a Halo Wars Flame Marine. This series is interesting because there's not really like a specific game that they pulled from, because we've got stuff from like Halo 4 and 5, we've got stuff from Halo Wars, and some stuff from like Halo 2 and 3. So Mega just kind of did whatever and then kept the color as the general theme, which I think was a really good choice. And this dude looks epic. He's got a dark red undersuit, which is pretty cool because that means if you wanted to amass some of these guys, you could then swap the undersuit out with some, say, Battle for the Ark Marines and make yourself a platoon of like Halo Wars Marines in this red color, which I think would look really, really cool. And then you could put green undersuits and have this guy be like more green color. There's just some options there. I love how the armor looks. It's so bulky. He's got the same shoulders as like Spartan Locke, but I guess that's accurate. Then he's got some Spartan lower legs to show the extra armor. Then his flamethrower, which I never knew before seeing. I don't remember what video it was that I saw, but it came apart in the video and I was shocked. And then I got this guy and you had to build him, and that was the first time I had to build a flamethrower. And yeah, you definitely can take it apart. Got the little rubber hose that goes around to his pack. It's hollow from underneath. That looks a little ugly, but, you know, just don't look at him from that angle. Pop that off. Big, flat back piece, which means you can fit all kinds of backpacks and stuff on there. Really cool molded detail on the back of the helmet. I don't entirely know why they made this guy a rare. It seems a little arbitrary, but he is definitely a cool figure to have. And you really only need like 3 or 4 of these guys max. I think 4 of them would make a nice flamer platoon. Pair them with some Halo Wars Marines, and you're good to go. Our second rare is this Promethean Soldier. Now, this guy has a pretty good amount of print for a blind bag figure. We got some red on the chest. His eyes are all painted up, and his teeth, as well as some print down on the lower legs. Oh, yeah, and we've got some print here, too. That's really, really nice. And they did the arm joints in this red to show like the energy that flows between the joints, because in game the Prometheans just kind of float, like their limbs don't really connect, they just kind of float apart from their body. So I think that was a good way to show it. It's obviously not perfect, but I think it does a really good job. We have some really good molded detail on the back here, and the like spikes on the back really don't limit the head articulation at all. You can move it all over the place. He has no waist swivel. That was something I found really interesting when I got my first Promethean Soldier. There's no waist swivel, so you don't have any of that. You do have plenty of leg articulation. Nothing has changed there. You just don't have the option to swivel them at all. I guess that's because he's got like the hollow sections there in his rib cage. I don't really think that he needed a waist swivel. Like most figures, like the Spartans and stuff, they really benefit from waist swivels, but Promethean Soldiers move in such a weird way that they don't really need that extra bit of articulation. Arms look epic. Then he's got a bolt shot, but it's in this translucent red color, which I don't fully understand because it makes it look like a hard light projection coming from his hand. Like he wishes he were holding a bolt shot, so he's just going to like project one. I don't know. It's a little odd to me. It's cool looking, but it's a little odd. I don't really know what the thought process there was, other than to just tie it in with the red of the Warrior series. So, I don't know. A little weird. And there's not really other bolt shots that match this kind of silver gray, I don't think. You know what? No, never mind. I take that back. Yes, there is. So if you wanted to swap out the more normal bolt shots for this red one, you could definitely do that. And last but not least, we have the ultra rare of the series, the Gummy Atarix. So this guy is actually pretty useful because, especially now that Infinite has come out, we see a lot of holograms of Atarix just like standing around as, I guess, propaganda kind of thing for the Banished, like motivation, you know, make Atarix proud. So this is a pretty useful figure just to have in displays. And he looks really cool. The red color is really neat. The way the light shines through it. The thinner sections show up more like orange, and then the thicker sections of the plastic show up as red. So he kind of almost looks molten. Comes with a red stand, which is pretty cool. Translucent red chain breaker, which is still too small. but, you know, it is what it is. And then there's really no other, like, there's no print on this guy, but he is supposed to be a hologram, so you don't need print, really. He's got his big, bulked up arm. I keep lifting it almost out of the camera. I keep forgetting how far down my camera is pointed. So, yeah, this guy is really cool, and he is one of those figures that's become one of those rare, legendary, hard to track down guys that everyone seems to want, but nobody seems to be able to have and, like, actually find for a decent price. He's definitely not as high on the list as like Carter or Mickey, but he's definitely got his rare factor going for him. Especially for the people who collect gummies, this guy is a must-have, and, you know, getting him is difficult. Usually, I'm not a fan of the gummies. I think they're kind of useless. I don't fit them into my photos well. Like, they don't fit well into photos at all because the detail gets a little muddled on camera. But I think this guy is really useful, really cool, because like I said, you can have him as a hologram standing there to motivate your banished troops, or have him, I don't know, facing off against Cutter or Jerome to try and threaten them. Something. It's just more useful than having a translucent green Helios grill or something like that. This guy, definitely one. If you have the chance to get him for a decent price, I would say jump for it, because he is really, really cool. Well, there you have it. That is the entire set of Warrior Series blind bags. The word that comes to mind for this series is iconic. All of these figures are iconic. The red kind of overall color scheme with the silver accent is really just, it's iconic. You know exactly, when you see like a lot on eBay, you can pick out exactly which figures are from Warrior Series. And I think that's really, really cool. I'm sad that Mega stopped doing the color schemes, because we had like Stormbound, Maverick, Challenger, and then Warrior. All of them had different colors. I think Maverick was blue, Stormbound was silver and kind of blue, and then Challenger was green, and then Warriors obviously red. That was a really cool idea, and it tied the figures together in a really neat way. Because like I said, these are all from different games. We've got Halo Wars represented here, Halo 4 and 5 represented here, Halo like 2 and 3 represented here, but they all match because of the color scheme, and there's just this sense of cohesiveness to the whole series that the newer blind bags don't have. Halo Infinite Series 1, 2, and 3, they're great blind bag series, but they don't really have a sense of cohesiveness like this one does. Because, you know, sure, they're all tied together by the fact that the figures are from Infinite, but on a shelf, displayed together, they don't look connected, really. These guys, you put them all in a line, they look like a set, and I think that's really cool. So now comes a part of the video where we have to talk about price, and basically getting your hands on a full set like this is going to be really difficult. Getting them sealed, like getting a sealed full set and being able to open them yourself and build them all like that, really, really expensive. You might be able to assemble the whole set by just like getting lots here and there, or just like buying random figures here and there and eventually getting the whole set. But then you have the problem of tracking down Gummy Atarix there, because he is the really difficult to get one. Scalpers are absolutely having a heyday with these ultra rares now that they're discontinued. So yeah, getting your hands on a whole series is going to be hard. I would say just honestly pick your favorite figures from this series and just try and track those down, because stuff like the Silver Spartan, don't think he's hard to get. Don't think he's really that hard to get. I've seen him a fair amount. Grunt, probably pretty easy to get. I think the Flamer is a little more difficult. The Promethean is definitely more difficult, because for some reason people like the Prometheans a lot, even though a lot of people claim to hate them. I don't know. I think they're really cool. This is actually my third one, so I have a nice little squad of Prometheans now. And then the Marine, I think he's a little more difficult to get just because he's an army builder. People want to get him in large quantities. So, yeah, I would say for this series, pick your favorite ones. If you don't have them already, then go ahead and track them down. So, on that note, what are your favorite figures from this set? If you had to pick only 2 figures that you could track down, which 2 would they be? For me, I think it would probably end up being the Marine and the Recruit. just because the Recruit looks so good, and then the Marine is a really nice kind of counterpart to him, kind of like an escort. So those two would be my top picks here, even though the rest of these guys are absolutely fantastic. I think, honestly, when I was opening the packages the first time, these two were my pick for the two pairing if I had to only get two. But, like, that's a nice battle right there, but I really do love the Marine, so he's definitely got to go in the top two. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.